What's up, guys? Becca Switzer with Roof Sales Mastery, author of Diamonds in the Sky. Raleigh Switzer with Woof Sales Mastery, author of Most Judgmental Dog Looks I've Ever Seen in My Life, coming to you with a message today about delegation. A lot of you guys are smaller companies. I talk to you and it's you and your fiance, or you and your brother-in-law, or just you, or you and your one sales guy, you know, or maybe it's a handful and you do have several salespeople, but it's you and one other person that's kind of handling, you know, the books and accounting or whatever. It's time, if you want to grow, to be honest with yourself. Can I maintain this pace in this role long term? And then the follow-up question to that is, do I want to maintain this pace in this role long term? I talk to a lot of you guys and you get on the phone with me and I say, okay, so what's going on? What's your situation? What's your setup? Who's doing what? And you say to me, well, it's kind of just me and like I got a couple sales guys, but I got a girl that works part-time and she does, you know, some of the accounting and bookkeeping and stuff like that, you know, sends mortgage checks and things like that, but I'm kind of doing everything. I mean, I am selling, but I'm also doing the guys' supplements and, you know, I'm trying to train them. And I also go, and if somebody needs a shingle repaired, I'm out there doing that too. And I want you guys to really be honest here about letting go of the control, because for many of you, it's an issue of control, right? You want to be doing it all. Or two, not being a cheap ass. And instead of looking at, well, I don't want to have to pay a production manager. If I can just do all this stuff myself, or I don't want to have to pay for a training program because I'll just try to train them myself. Jeez. Can you actually do that? Be realistic. I'll tell you what, I've not met very many, if any, people that have been able to spin those plates, do very, very well for themselves, have a life, and then make it repeatable. It's not possible, okay? That's why when you go into a restaurant, your waiter is not also the person who is cleaning up your dishes, cooking your food, and greeting you at the door, and doing the books, okay? Why not? Because waiters do the waiting, which is weird, because if you're eating in a restaurant, aren't you doing the waiting? Okay? The chefs are not like, oh shit, someone's here, gotta go seat them. They're cooking food, and they're good at cooking food. I don't really want the host cooking my food, probably. I don't know what their skill level is. Okay, think about your roofing company the same. There comes a point where you can't do it all. And the truth is, most of us are really good at one thing. We're maybe okay at a couple other things, and we're dog shit at a few others. A lot of you are really good at selling, shit at training. Or you're really good at selling, very bad at paperwork and staying organized, stuff like that. So the best thing you can do is put key people in place to delegate specific roles, and they do that, okay? And my name of the game is I'm not teaching you guys like how to set up your office and stuff like that, but I have some pretty simple pointers that should be pretty common sense for you here. And that should be, you should have a production manager. They deal with the crews, the material orders, they manage the builds, you know, maybe they run shingles when somebody's short a square or two or whatever. You have your office administrator that answers phones and does paperwork and bookkeeping and accounting and stuff like that. Maybe you have an in-house supplementer that's dealing with the claims maximization, and they're really good at that and they do it for everyone. And then you have a designated GM, a general manager, and a sales manager. And the sales manager hopefully is not the person you plucked out of the field that's doing the best. Your best salesman should not be your sales manager. Let me repeat that. You can find a video on that somewhere else on my channel. I hope you watch it if you haven't. But side note, your sales manager he is the interviewer, the hire manager, and he runs training and he does the sales meetings. He drives the sales. He keeps everybody sharp, accountable, motivated, stuff like that. Okay, and these roles are like parts of a car, all right? When everybody is doing their job and they're doing very, very well, the steering wheel steers, the engine runs, the tires let the car move, okay? The transmission, whatever it does, I'm not really sure. Isn't it like gears? You shift gears with the transmission? I know what a transmission does. Okay, so that's how it works. And then you have this well-oiled machine. And when something is going wrong, it's easy to diagnose. Oh, well, if this is wrong, then it's obviously the transmission. Or I can't stop the car, it's obviously the brakes. Okay? So if it's like, man, our material orders are really getting shitty, well, whose fault is it? The production managers. Wow, the sales team is dropping off like flies. Whose fault is it? Well, the guy stopped running sales meetings. Like, let's diagnose it. Okay, things like that. So, my tip for you today, and this is a great time of year to do it, depending on when you're watching this, of course, but decide who's going to be in place for the designated roles at my company, and how can we get them to be a king at that instead of you try to be a jack of all trades. As always, subscribe to the YouTube channel here. You can visit my website, www.roofsalesmastery.com. I will catch you guys later. Keep it crunchy out there. Have a great day.